Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're going to completely upend how you think about reality and the actual fabric of existence. We are diving headfirst into the seriously mind-bending concept of cosmic topology. So settle in, because we're about to stretch our brains to the absolute limit, trying to visualize the true shape, the scale, and the potential infinity of our cosmos.
Let's jump right into this mystery by asking the ultimate question about the boundaries of literally everything we know. When you go outside and look up at the night sky, it feels completely endless, right? But physicists know the universe is expanding, and logically, you'd think that something actively expanding must have some sort of edge to expand into. So if there is an edge, what on earth would you actually see if you traveled all the way out there?
To figure that out, we first have to lock down our baseline reality, because information, specifically light, has a strict, unbreakable speed limit. We are effectively trapped inside a literal bubble of visibility. No matter which direction we look, we are sitting at the exact dead center of a vast sphere. This is what we call the observable universe. And just inside this one single bubble, we're talking about roughly 200 billion galaxies, with each one packing hundreds of billions of stars.
Now, we know the universe had a definitive beginning, right around 14 billion years ago. And because of this hard limit on the age of the cosmos, we can only see parts of the universe whose light has had exactly that much time to travel to our telescopes. If a galaxy is further away than the time light has had to reach us, it's just completely invisible. It's totally off our radar.
But wait, here is the real catch. The universe hasn't just been sitting still while all that light was making its journey. Thanks to cosmic expansion, the very space between objects has been stretching this entire time. That means the furthest stuff whose light we're only just now picking up, it's actually been pushed much, much further away over those billions of years. Today, the actual physical edge of our observable radius sits at a staggering 45 billion light-years away.
So for human beings, there absolutely is an edge. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it is an edge in time, not space. It's not a massive brick wall floating out in the void. We are simply looking backward in time until there is just no past left to see. In a way, wondering what's past that physical boundary is kind of meaningless for us. The real universe definitely keeps going way past that 45 billion light-year mark, but the big question is that larger universe just really, really big, or is it truly infinite?
Let's tackle that first option, a finite universe. If the cosmos is finite, it means you could technically fill it up with a limited amount of stuff. Let's say, ice cream. You'd need a ridiculous cosmic amount of ice cream, sure, but it would be a finite number of scoops. But hang on, if it's finite, shouldn't there be a wall? And what exactly is outside of everything? Well, physics offers a pretty brilliant hack for this paradox. Imagine a tiny ant walking on an orange. From the ant's perspective, its immediate surroundings look totally flat. But if it walks in a straight line forever, it just laps the orange and ends up exactly where it started. The skin of that orange is finite, but it has no edge, no border, and definitely no outside for the ant to fall off into. Which brings us to some completely wild cosmic geometries. Instead of a 2D orange peel, what if our 3D space is curled back on itself? Scientists call this a hypersphere. Now, we've actively looked for a cosmic horizon to prove this and found zilch, meaning if we do live in a hypersphere, it has to be at least 1,000 times larger than our observable universe just to look flat to our instruments. But actually, scratch that. Some physicists propose an even wilder shape, the hyperdonut. In a hyperdonut universe, space connects in such bizarre, looped ways that it creates a literal cosmic hall of mirrors. You could look up into the night sky, watch a star being born, turn 180 degrees, and watch that exact same star dying on the opposite side of the universe.
But we have to look at the other main alternative. What if the universe is truly infinite? Interestingly enough, the standard cosmological model that most scientists use actually predicts an infinite universe. But man, does this break our brains? We know the Big Bang happened, and we know space is expanding. So how can something that is already everywhere, stretching on forever, become even bigger? Well, the trick is that cosmic expansion simply means the distance between galaxies is growing over time. You literally don't need an edge to expand into. The infinite space itself just stretches.
Okay, let's take this concept to its absolute logical extreme, because this is where infinity gets incredibly weird. Every single thing in existence is made up of a finite menu of fundamental particles. And those finite particles? They can only be arranged in a finite number of combinations. It's a massively, unfathomably huge number, but it is not infinite. So if you take a limited set of building blocks and you randomly scatter them across an infinite amount of space, probability dictates that by pure chance, combinations eventually have to repeat.
Which means there is an exact copy of Earth out there, with an exact copy of you watching this exact explainer right now.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the sheer terrifying scale of infinity. To actually find that exact duplicate of Earth, you couldn't just pop over to the next galaxy. Because our world is so incredibly complex and unlikely, you'd have to travel 10 to the 10 to the 29 times the size of our observable universe just to find it. That is a 1 followed by 100 octillion zeros. It is a distance so unbelievably huge that it effectively just means forever far away. So you and your cosmic doppelganger are sadly never going to meet up.
At the end of the day, we are really dipping our toes into science philosophy here. We can't definitively test or prove if the universe goes on forever. For all practical purposes, our reality is completely confined to our observable bubble, bounded by that hard edge in time. But you know what? That shouldn't make you feel trapped. Even if this visible, finite chunk of reality feels a little small compared to true infinity, it still holds 200 billion galaxies. It is infinitely enough space to fulfill all the wonder, the exploration, and the dreams that humanity could ever possibly conceive of.
The scale of what we can actually see is already an absolute masterpiece, whether it's wrapped up in a hypersphere, frosted like a hyperdonut, or stretching on forever into the dark. But I want to turn this over to you. If space truly is infinite, and if every possible combination of matter exists somewhere out there right this second, and you somehow had a spaceship that could cross those impossible distances, what version of yourself would you hope to find? Think about that for a bit. Keep wondering, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.